LBK. This is your brother Robert Jenkins coming with, oh man, is this episode 98? Episode 98 of the Focus LBK Show. Yes, indeed. We have 2 more episodes until we hit, I would say, a pretty big milestone. And that milestone, of course, is the 100th episode of the Focus LBK Show. And that is big to me for several reasons. First of all, I've had several podcasts before. And on my previous podcast, I think it was called the Underground Star Podcast. Yeah, I think it was called Underground Star Podcast. On that podcast, we got up to quite a few episodes. We were doing it during a little before COVID and then during COVID and talking about various things. This podcast, though, is going to be my longest running podcast. Actually, I've been podcasting in various ways, forms, or fashions since, I don't know, about 2007, maybe. I think I got online in 2005 with my own websites. I got online about 98, surfing and looking around and stuff. But I started being active online, making my own content, about 2005. And I definitely had a site called moonmind.com as far back as I want to say like 2007. By 2009, I had run that site pretty well and had quite a bit of content built up. See, the problem with doing content and maintaining a web presence, doing a podcast like this, it's focus. This is what I have come to understand. It's focus. That's the problem with everything in life. What is your focus? And that's why I say that doing this podcast is part of our mission. We started doing it because we came back home to the LBK, the hub city, Flat City, Lubbock, Texas, USA. We came back in like 2022. Now, prior to that, I had been gone for about 25 years. I left here in about 97, went to the Air Force, lived all over the country, worked all over the country, some TDYs and stuff like that, to some pretty interesting places, did some real cool stuff. Now, when we were in the military, I was in the military, my family served with me, basically. That's how we kind of look at it. And it seemed to me like we always knew that we were going to come back to Texas. We some Texas boys and girls, you know what I'm saying? That's how we roll. We roll like Texas roll. Texas is my home. Like, man, I feel like Robert E. Lee. In fact, we're named after Robert E. Lee. My grandfather's name is Robert Lee Jenkins. Now, I know he was a Confederate general, but I share his sentiment on many things. And one of those things is the fact that we consider Texas pretty much to be our home country. I feel like Texas is my country. It ain't my state. It's my country. I feel like Lubbock is my state. I guess I know that's a weird way of looking at it. I'm from Lubbock, but Lubbock is within Texas. And honestly, I look at the rest of the United States kind of strange. Like, yeah, I guess California. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Massachusetts. All right, whatever. That's where you from. I ain't cracking on it. I ain't dissing on these other states. But I'm just saying, Texas got an attitude. Our attitude here in Texas, we were a country once. You know what I'm saying? Briefly. And we still got that attitude of being a country. So that's how I feel about Texas. Robert E. Lee, going back to him, he said, I think it was Robert E. Lee. Was it Robert E. Lee? Yeah, it was Robert E. Lee. President Lincoln asked Robert E. Lee, who was a Southerner, to come head up the Union Army. And Robert E. Lee, as I understand it, declined to head up the Union Army. Now, he didn't say, I ain't going to head up the Union Army because I hate the United States or I love slavery and I'm trying to. In fact, he didn't even want slaves. His wife, I think, if I remember correctly, inherited slaves. They got rid of them eventually. They didn't even want slaves. So it wasn't like he was racist. The reason he didn't join Abraham Lincoln and take charge of the Union Army as Lincoln wanted him to is, according to what I've read, he straight up told President Lincoln, he said, well, sir, I must respectfully decline, for there is no way I could ever move my heart to take up arms against my beloved home country of Virginia. That's how I feel about Texas. Ain't no way I could ever move my heart. I might be embellishing that a little bit. I don't know the exact quote, but he basically said he wasn't going to ever take up arms against his beloved state of Virginia. And I think he said my country. That's what stood out to me when I read that. He felt like that was his country. That's how the United States used to be. It's supposed to be 50 independent states who voluntarily associate together. It's supposed to be these United States, not the United States. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference between that. I don't know if y'all catching me. There's a difference between these United States and the United States. The United States is an entity provided, basically a group of counties that formerly known as states that is presided over by the federal government. That came about after the Civil War. Prior to the Civil War, we were known as these United States. Each state was a sovereign country, basically, and they voluntarily associated with each other. So where I'm going with this is focus. This is our 100th episode of, coming up on our 100th episode of the Focus LBK Show, right? And the reason that we were able to keep it going to 100, it gets to be pretty easy when you have a focus. See, we started off when we got back home by 2022. We came back here about, I think it was March of 2022. And I started getting reacquainted with my home city, my hometown, the LBK, Lubbock, Texas, USA. I started getting reacquainted with it because I hadn't lived here since, like I say, 97, actually. I left here in September. I can tell you the date, September 24th, 1997. So when I left, so I guess it would have been the 23rd, but I was gone and I was in the military September 24th, 1997. Ever since then, I've always known we were going to come back to Texas. When we came back to Lubbock for a visit in 2020 during COVID, and we realized, man, we like it here. And then we came back, I think, the next year, because basically what I had two little brothers that got married. And we came back for their weddings. So we came back for the second wedding in 2021. And man, that was the year they had that big freeze. It was cold in the mud. It was -2, something like that. We riding around in -2 degrees, slipping and sliding. Power went off in Texas. Didn't go off in Lubbock though. Well, where we was at, we didn't see the power go off. I don't think it went off. And that was one of our decisions. That was part of our decision-making process. We said, man, the rest of Texas, we was thinking about going back to Houston. We was thinking about going back to San Antonio. Never was thinking about Dallas. Dallas ain't really my cup of tea. I like H-Town, though. But anyway, we was thinking about going back to Houston or San Antonio. And then we heard they was on ERCOT and they power went out. We was like, oh, they power went out down there. I say, man, our power in Lubbock, we on our own little grid. We got steady electricity up here, man. It's cheap, inexpensive. The living is easy, so to speak. It ain't hard to get nowhere. It ain't hard to do nothing. And if you get tired of being in Lubbock proper, you can easily jet over to the Dallas. You can easily jet down to H-Town. You can easily jet down to San Antonio. You can easily jet up, 8-hour drive up to Denver, 6 hours over to Albuquerque. Everywhere is a day trip. A couple day trip, about a 3 or 4 day trip. I ain't finna drive to H-Town to stay no one day. We like it too much down there. But the point I'm getting at, folks, is all about focus. Where you place your attention is what determines your reality. That's like physics. These smart scientists at halftime, I don't think they be knowing what they think they know. But one of the things that they are coming up with, it's not really new, is that attention determines reality. How you pay attention to things and what you pay attention to determines your reality. One of the things that we pay attention to is Lubbock. We pay attention to Lubbock, Texas. And I was greatly inspired to do this because, like I said, when we got home in 2022, we were getting reacquainted with some of the things that make Lubbock so special. This is a special place. If you don't believe me, we special people. We ain't just regular people. Me and my wife, I consider us to be special. Of course, I know everybody think they special, but we think we special too. And out of all the cities in Texas, H-Town didn't sway our mind. Dallas didn't sway our thought process. Corpus Christi didn't do nothing for us. We've been to all these places. We know what they have to offer. What did we come back to? We came back to good old Lubbock, Texas, USA. And like I say, we ain't no run-of-the-mill people, and this ain't no run-of-the-mill city. It's a lot of special things here. I'm going to tell you one thing that I think is special. One of the things that I noticed when we got back, we had, I had heard of the Southwest Digest. Previously, I think it was called the West Texas Times. Was it the West Texas Times? It's a black-owned newspaper owned by T.J. Patterson, former city councilman, 1984, elected, first black man elected to city council. And his homeboys, Ace Boone Coon, Eddie Richardson. These two gentlemen had a newspaper called the Southwest Digest. That's one of the things that greatly influenced me when I came back. When I was living here, I think I might have heard of the Southwest Digest, but I had never, it wasn't like a thing to me. It wasn't like I got to go get my copy of the Southwest Digest. Keep in mind, I was a kid. However, when we did come back, and now that I'm an adult and I'm a historical minded person, I love history. I love understanding where we come from, why things are the way they are, how they are the way they are. You start looking back at things and realize that, man, we have outstanding exemplars and examples here in the LBK. For example, Mr. T.J. Patterson, Mr. Eddie Richardson, who started the Southwest Digest. So when I was thinking about all that, and I was wondering, like, May Simmons, who is May Simmons? I got a movie, I got a video on all this. I'm going to try to put some links to that stuff, man. It's videos that we have done since we've been back, educational videos that tell all about May Simmons and T.J. Patterson and E.C. Struggs, Edward Cecil Struggs, I think his name was, Dunbar Struggs. We got some cold videos. We're going to put them on here. But I guess what I'm saying is, man, it's all about focus. And that's why we have been able to have some longevity here. 100 episodes coming up. And that's because we have been focused on you, LBK. Yeah, my eyes right on you. My camera lens focused right on you. You and you and you. You get a car. No, you don't get a car, but you might get some pictures made. You get your picture made and you get your picture made. We're doing the Oprah Winfrey thing, you know what I'm saying? So, man, we thank y'all for supporting us thus far, and we ask y'all to stay tuned. We're getting ready to kick it to another level. When we hit these 100 episodes, we finna take it up. Now, let me tell you what we got planned coming up for this 100th episode, though. The 100th episode demands something special. So, what we are going to do on August 10th, that's Sunday, August 10th, we're going to be taping a live episode of the Focus LBK Show with a panel of guests who are going to be speaking. And the topic that we're going to be speaking on, one of the topics anyway, is going to be, how can we stop some of this community violence? How can we stop some of this violence and bullcorn, not just here in the LBK, but in general in our community? How can we stop? This stuff right here is unsustainable. It's untenable. We cannot continue. It cannot be allowed to persist. It must be rooted out, stamped out, destroyed, and really salted over. Back in the Bible, they'll kill a whole people and salt over the earth. They don't even want crops to grow. That's how we got to do with this community violence. This violence in our community. We got to salt the earth over that stuff, because it is not racism. In my estimation, when I look with my lights, it ain't racism that's holding us back. It ain't the white man. It ain't none of that. It's us. We killing each other. We making our neighborhoods untenable. I love that word. It's untenable. I mean, you can't live there. It's untenable. This position you can't inhabit. Our neighborhoods are untenable. I was looking at something today. I stay on the news. You know, I'm a news hound, and I was reading where I forget where it was, but there was a big store chain going out of business. Now, they're not going out of business. They closing the store in a black neighborhood up, I think it was up north somewhere. And the reason they was doing it is because it's too much theft. Now, your community activists and stuff protesting and getting mad and saying it's racism. It's like, dude, stop stealing. It ain't racism. You don't make a lot of money in the grocery business. You don't make a lot of profits. You think they do because they got these big stores and stuff. But after they pay for that and pay all their bills, pay all of the expenses, it's called overhead that it takes to run a store. You can't keep sustaining losses through theft and through damages to the store property, graffiti, and all that kind of stuff. If you keep sustaining losses, you're going to drive that company out of the neighborhood. And then they're going to get mad and say, oh, it's a food desert. Well, you made it a desert. You had an oasis right there. Now where it's at? It's gone. Why? Because you're not properly maintaining it. And, well, you don't seem to understand the relationship between actions and consequences is what it boils down to. But yeah, focus. LBK, we talking about focus. Focus is where you place your attention determines your reality. Just like that situation we talking about up there, the people that's mad at the store for leaving, they placing their focus on the fact that it left. And they don't place their focus on understanding why the store left. So they don't have a concept of reality that matches with true reality on the ground. I tell you what, though, we are maintaining our focus here at Focus LBK, the Focus LBK Show. One of the things we were just focused on, for example, y'all know Miss Cavell. Everybody say Cavell. I want to say Cavell because I be looking at the site. It say Cavell, but I guess it's pronounced Cavell because everybody say Cavell. So I'm gonna have to give in and start saying Miss Cavell. So Miss Billy Cavell had her 90th birthday party, which was sponsored by Miss Shirley Green and the Roots crew, the Roots Historical Arts Council, over here at the Cavell Museum of African American History. And go down here in the show notes, you can see a link to the page. My son, Mr. Nugent, was the photographer and reporter who covered that event. I think he did a pretty good job for a young man. And I tell you what, that's the kind of stuff that we enjoy focusing on. And that's why for the 100th episode, we're going to tape a live show down at the Cavell Museum. It's going to be Sunday, the 10th. We're going to have room for a small studio audience. I say small because we're going to have cameras and stuff all in there. So we need to make sure we have room for the crew and for the panel. But it'll make it more lively, I think, if we have people come to listen. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be able to ask questions, too. We'll put a mic out there and let you ask questions, too. Because that's how we do what we do. Yeah. So anyway, Lubbock, man, it's about where you place your attention. When you place your attentions on the right thing, when you focus, LBK, on the right things, I found in my life that it enables you to find the strength to carry on. If your focus is scattered, then your results will be scattered. You know what I'm saying? Your attention is scattered, then your activity is scattered. But when you focus, when you find a mission, like Mr. TJ Patterson and them, when you find a mission like May Simmons, when you find a mission like Miss Vernita Holmes, when you find a mission like Willie Lusk, making them tight boots by hand. I mean tight as in look good, not tight on your feet. They was custom, so you know they wasn't tight. They fit right. When you find a mission, when you focus on your mission, you find that it's actually not hard. It's not hard work at all to achieve some sort of longevity and hopefully some sort of impact. That's at least that's what we hope we are having, some sort of impact here. We don't know what it is, and it's probably not for us to know or worry about, honestly. You just follow your mission, do what you're supposed to do, focus on the right things, and do what needs to be done. That's what we're trying to do. So hopefully, man, we'll see some of y'all at our live taping of the Focus LBK show. That's going to be on August 10th, Sunday, August 10th. I put some notes down there. I think it's at 12 o'clock if I remember correctly. But I tell you what, man, one of the things that we were focused on at work the other day, we was chit-chatting and some of my work friends, and we was like, man, Who is focusing on me? And the reason we was talking about this, we're talking about phones, cell phones. And if y'all have listened to this show before, you know I, from time to time, refer to cell phones as slave trackers. And part of that is because I used to be an intelligence analyst, cryptologic language analyst to be exact, with the Air Force. It was an intel mission and had something to do, you might say, with communications and stuff like that. I became intimately acquainted with the things that can be done with one's phone or to one's phone or with one's, well, let's just say any electronic communications that you engage in can be focused on easily. Here's the thing. You don't know what the focus entails. You don't know who is focusing on you. People say it's the government. Yeah, sometimes it is. But in today's digital environment, you don't know who is focusing on you. It's usually not the government. The government has no need to focus on you because, first of all your digital communications are stored. Y'all ever heard of an avatar? Yeah. I know y'all heard of an Avatar before. Not the movie. I ain't talking about James Cameron. That second one was bloated too, man. They could have cut an hour out there. That's neither here nor there. But I'm talking about your digital avatar. People think that an avatar is a character that you choose to represent you online, your pictures, a cartoon of yourself or something like that. That's one form of avatar. But there's a deeper form of avatar out there. And that is your digital footprint. All the things you do online, all the things you do with your cell phone is aggregated somewhere by some groups, governments, businesses, civilian, non-governmental organizations, and they can buy your information. Even if they don't personally aggregate it, your information is for sale. So anytime you find yourself on Facebook or Instagram, any of these free services, when something is free, that lets you know that you are not the customer, you are the product. If you ain't got to pay nothing for it, you ain't the customer because you ain't paying. If you doing something that's free, that's because what you doing is the product that they sell to other people. Everybody, you should know that by now, I think. Everybody know that, right? But what are the implications of that? Who is focused on your information? All of your information is aggregated somewhere, and that, my friends, is called an avatar. That is your true avatar. It's not the little cute cartoon character you're choosing to be Robert Jenkins when I'm on Facebook. It's my avatar. Nah, whatever. I don't be on Facebook that much, honestly, because I'm halfway scared of all these apps because I know what they do. Social media, the origins of that term, you ought to look that up. I ain't gonna tell you what it is, but you ought to look that up. It ain't got no. Yeah, you ought to look who Facebook used to be before they was Facebook. But that's your avatar. Your avatar is your digital footprint, the aggregate of all your digital activities that is bought and sold while you are by these companies who focus on your digital life. Why? Because it's valuable. You can tell what somebody, you practically can tell, you can tell the future. It's almost like looking in a crystal ball because you know, this is what we were talking about at work. We're talking about your phone. Phones are ubiquitous. That's a big word, mean everywhere. Everywhere you turn, everybody got that. I done seen people doing music videos holding their phone while they dancing and rapping. I'm like, why you got your phone in your hand, man? You on a music video. Your phone ain't nothing special. You ain't flaunting it. Everybody got cell phones now. This ain't 1986 when only drug dealers and rich people had phones, cell phones, and they was about that big. You know, they was bricks. Why you got your phone in your hand on a music video? Really? That's because we are addicted to them. They capture our focus. You talking about your focus determining your reality. Our reality is half the time being wasted because we focus on these devices. And one of the things I noticed, I was telling some of my work friends, I say, man, the other night I was in my bedroom and we live out in a rural area. So I'm in the bedroom chilling, about to go to bed. And some kind of way I flipped around and pulled up, like Find My Phone or something like that. And I've seen this before, but you moving and grooving, you don't think about it. But that night I just looked at it. And when I was sitting there facing like the window, which is over here, say to the left. And I noticed that there's a big map. And on this map is an empty space around my house because it's not that much around us, right around us. And then there was the outlines of my house. And on that map, my house was perfectly represented. It looked, the outlines of my house was exactly right, precisely correct. That's how it looks. Now this little circle, this little blue dot, I get emotional. No, I don't get emotional. I just got something in my throat. This little blue dot was my phone giving off, the bing, the pinging, telling where it's at. And it was so precise. Really, they could have targeted me with a missile attack. And I'm not saying they will or somebody is after me. I'm saying they could have. It was that precise. It was literally the map of my house. On that map, when I zoomed in, it was in the bedroom, in the right area of the house. And this is what creeped me out. When I was looking to the left out the window, there was a ray of light, looked like some light shining off that little dot, headed out the window toward the back of the house. But when I turned like this and laid down in bed, the directional light that was shining out of that little blue dot turned with me. It was shining out that side of the house. I say, now I have seen that before, but that night, man, it made an impression on me. And I said, man, this is too much. Somebody, if they want to focus on me, and they do, because somebody want to sell me something, somebody has motives. They have things they want to do concerning me that I don't know what those things are. But they can get all the information they need about me and you and your mama and your cousin too. That outcast. They can get all that information. Anything they focused on, anything they want to focus on, they can get it. Anything you want, they got it. Anything they need, they got it. Man, I said, yo, that's too much. It's not bad enough that they got a dot in the general area of my house. No, they got a dot in the room, on the side of the room where my side of the bed is, that turns with me in real time. That's too much. Talking about the eye of Sauron. Who looking at eye? Who focused on me and why? That's creepy. You know what I'm saying? And remember what we was talking about, where you focus, what you focus on determines your reality. So somebody is focused on me, or can easily focus on me, or can easily focus on you. So you might say, so what? I ain't hiding nothing. Well, you know what? That's the credo of slaves. Free people demand privacy. Free people understand that privacy is the soil out of which freedom springs. You can't be yourself. You can't find yourself. You can't engage in no activity that builds and edifies yourself without privacy. Introspection, quiet, isolation, not being subject to the prying eyes of others, not being subject to the influence of others. That's what I was talking about. Focus. What you focus on determines your attention, or what you place your attention on determines reality. What you focus on determines your reality. That's scientifically proven. There's an experiment called the double slit experiment, where basically, to put it real quick and simple, if you shine some lights through a card with two slits in it, depending on whether somebody is looking or not, depends on how light shines through those slits. If you look at it, I think if somebody is observing the light being shined, it comes through as waves, as lines on the wall, because it's going through the two slits. But if you don't look, it comes through as photons, and it's just what is it? It's not waves, but it's photons. It comes through. It doesn't come through the slits and shine on the wall like two slits. It just comes through as individual photons. It really is what you place your attention on determines reality. First of all, that hints at our godlike power. We are many creators made in the image of the Creator. So where we focus our attention determines the things that we can create. Somebody focused on you that hard, what are they creating? Somebody focused on your digital avatar, your footprint, your pattern of life, they call it. They know all about you. What are they creating? Well, one of the things they creating is a gulag, a digital prison. Central bank digital currencies, while everybody over here worried about Trump's moves. They done made all kind of inroads and steps towards creating a digital currency. People think that's good because, the dollar be digital, have to. Yeah, if the dollar is digital, they have control over you. They know, they're going to know, if they focus on you, they know exactly where you are and what you're doing. They even know which way you're facing in your own bedroom. Don't say they don't, they do. They focused on you that hard. And now all money is digital, which is, they just took a major step toward doing that. What if you're doing something they don't want you to do? You think you still got money? If you ain't got cash in your pocket, it's all digital in your account. Ask them truckers up in Canada. Y'all know about them truckers up in Canada during COVID? There was a group of, it was a protest. It was a peaceful protest, an actual peaceful protest where truckers and their families were blocking the roads and honking the horns and having concerts and cookouts and tailgates saying, hey, we don't want to take this vaccine. And Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada at the time, what did he do? He shut down their bank accounts. And not only the truckers' bank accounts, as I understand it, if I remember by reading the articles correctly, they shut down people who attended the tailgate rallies and stuff, shut down their bank accounts, the truckers' families' bank accounts, they employers getting in trouble. That's how they crushed that rebellion. It wasn't a rebellion. It was people saying, I don't want to do that. It's their body. How you going to tell them what they got, what they can do with their own body? That's where focus comes in. They know all about you. When I was a kid, man, I always said, I'm starting to realize this more and more. The generation that I inhabit, Generation X, we are a bridge generation. Seems to me like, anyway, we're a bridge generation. We are the bridge between old school and the digital age. See, in my generation, we did not have cell phones or the internet, but they came along when we were young and agile enough mentally and cognitively to adapt to them. So I'm fully internet savvy and capable. I've had the same cell phone number since 2001. Matter of fact, it was September 11th that caused my wife to say, "You gonna get a cell phone." Because we couldn't communicate with each other during that time. And that's how it used to be. These are the things that we're missing now. We're missing privacy. And I find it amazing how back in my day, in my younger days, when I wore a younger man's pants, and I still got some of them younger man's pants. Eventually, I'm going to wear them again. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. But back when I used to wear a younger man's pants, all we had was pay phones and phones at home. There was no cell phones. And you know how free and liberating that was, or freedom inducing and liberating that was? Nobody knew where you were at. Nobody could track you. Nobody could trace you. You get in your gas-powered car, which is not electrical, which doesn't have a computer in it, and doesn't track and trace you and broadcast your location, and you drive somewhere. And you can't be reached or known if you don't want to be reached or known about. That's gone, which is a tragedy. It's to the point where I'm thinking about giving up my cell phone. I've been thinking about it for a long time, but see, they track you and they trick you. And the way they trick you is by putting so many cool things on the cell phone. I don't even use my cell phone as a phone no more. The only phone calls I get on my cell phone is random robocalls and fake spoofed numbers. Every time I look up, a city in Texas calling me. Wichita Falls how Wichita Falls calling me? You know what I'm saying? Wichita Falls ain't a person. That's how you know. That ain't nobody. I don't even answer that. I rarely get a call from an actual person. It's just full of junk. So we got a piece of junk here that all it does is track you. It's a slave tracker. All it does is it can tell you exactly which direction you facing in, whoever's monitoring this information. Not only that, it has gyroscopes in it and stuff like that. that tell, they can tell how you're traveling. Not only if you're going west down Avenue A, or actually south. Avenue A don't go west. It goes north and south, don't it? Yeah. They can tell whether you're going north or south down Avenue A, but not only that, they can tell if you're walking, riding a bike, or driving a car, because it has a gyroscope, it has a speedometer, it can tell all that stuff. You don't have a speedometer in here, but I'm sure they look at the pings and they can extrapolate your speed. Imagine if you was a slave back in 1842 and you was trying to run away and you had this in your pocket. Imagine if you was a slave in 2025, as most of us are in some way, form, or fashion, and you trying to run away and you got this in your pocket. Man, technology can be evil or good. Just depends on who is focusing on it, how they focusing on using it. I tell you what, I'm uncomfortable about it. Like I say, I'm really contemplating getting rid of this. But they track you. This is what I was finna get into. They trap you and make it hard to get out of it. Because if you just think about the negative stuff, you'd be like, ugh. But y'all know I'm a cameraman. I love cameras. Oh, very good camera right here at all times on my person. That's hard to get rid of when you're a cameraman. I'm a recordist, home recordist, and a reporter, essentially. I interview people. Oh, I got a recorder right here on the phone. Two of my most important tools that I use every day can fit in my back pocket and do fit in my back pocket every day. You got the internet, you got a computer, you got everything you need in life right here. To the point where people don't even use the phone no more. Like I say, I rarely call or get calls. Usually the stuff that you would have said in the phone call back in the day is really just a text message most of the time. I ain't got to call you to say bring some sugar home when you come home from work. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where I'm going with this. What I'm saying is focus is important, and sometimes you don't want to be focused on. One of the things too I noticed is that what I was getting into earlier is that when we place so much focus on these cell phones, it destroys our human faculties. Because back when I was a kid, I knew multiple phone numbers by heart. I knew everybody that I regularly talked to in my family phone number by heart. My grandma in Bryan, Texas, my grandpa here in Lubbock, Texas, my grandma in Lubbock, Texas, my dad's work number, my mom's work number, our home number, my homeboy's number, my other homeboy number. I had all these numbers. Anybody from my generation grew up experiencing the same thing. There was no phone to store your numbers. If anything, you might have had a black book by the telephone at home. Or usually they wasn't black. But you had some kind of phone book by the phone at home. That's for the other numbers that you didn't really dial all the time, like your aunties and them in California. You call them a couple times a year, a few times a year, but you don't call them every day. But the numbers that you typically used, you knew by heart. Probably 20 numbers or more by heart. No, who knows that today? Raise your hand if you know any phone numbers by heart. Everybody probably know their own phone number. I don't even know my work cell phone number. Why? Why would you remember something when it's stored in this? Why would you? I mean, technology, man, it destroys your natural God-given technology, your brain cells. Talking about this cell, like Goody Mob say, use that cell between your two shoulders, your brain cells. It's all about focus, LBK. It's all about focus. I think sometimes maybe we should focus on how much technology has taken from us, not how much technology has supposedly given us. Technology hasn't really given us much. I mean, think about it. The car gave us a lot. Automobiles, being able to afford a form of conveyance that allows you to make a trip in minutes, hours, or days that used to take days, weeks, or months. Talking about you're talking about the historical migration from the East Coast out to the West to California. You're talking about 6 months. 6 months through treacherous territory with deadly Indians, famine, drought, crazy mountain passes, lack of water, Talking about 6 months to go from Louisiana to California or something. Man, you could do that in 24 hours now. You can literally drive to California in 24 hours in your car. That is freedom. That is power. That is technology. That makes your life easier. Airplanes, same way. Certain forms of, yeah, I agree. Telecommunications, allowing you to talk to somebody and see their face at the same time, and they in Japan and you right here. But at what cost is, I guess, what I'm getting at. I don't know, man. That's a discussion for another day. But I feel the cost is getting to be too high for me personally. I don't know, maybe y'all cool with it, but I'm naturally shy and selective. I'm an introvert. I'm retiring. I don't like to be out and about around a lot of people. I go out and be amongst the people because that's my mission. But when I'm done with my mission, y'all don't see me, do you? I be at the crib with my lovely wife. Shoot. Anyway, y'all get the point I'm making, I think. Technology can be a good thing, but this technology right here, I'm starting to feel that we are enslaved. We are trapped in a cell phone. Trapped in a cell that we don't even use as phones. Man, I think that's enough for today. Y'all hit me up if you got any thoughts or comments on this. And like I say, we would love to see y'all. We got a room for a few people at the live taping of the Focus LBK Show 100th episode, talking about violence in the community and what can be done. It is going to be on, what did I say, 10 August? Y'all know I'm terrible with dates. 10 August 2025, I believe, is what we're going to be doing. This is episode 98. So, of course, 100th episode will be released on, I believe it's the 13th of August. So even if you can't attend the taping, stand by to watch the live panel discussion we gonna have. And by the way, it's gonna be Mrs. Phyllis Gant. It's gonna be Mr. Cosby Morton, Mr. Cambrell Miller, my brother. It's gonna be Mr. Delexay Johnson, young brother I met over at work over at Somerville Parkway. These are the guests on the panel. We're going to have a lovely discussion. It's going to be dope. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be enlightening. So hope I didn't hype that up enough for y'all to want to be there or be square or at least peep it out. Yeah, well, LBK, I always say it's time to focus. Maybe it's time to look at where we are focused and what we are focused on. And I think that's a deep thought to leave y'all with. So until next time, we'll talk to you. Peace.